Hi there, Dr. Debbie here. Welcome to another dose of Dr. Debbie. Are you stuck? I'm asking that because I've been on podcasts every single day, Monday through Friday, and I've been going over the 5 stages from betrayal to breakthrough. And when I talk about stage 3, which is survival instincts emerge, and I start talking about it, the host says, oh my gosh, if they're a coach, that's where all my clients are. And they would say, oh my gosh, I remember exactly when I was in that stage, and I stayed there for a very long time. It's the most common place to get stuck in. And if we're not careful, we could stay stuck in there in that stage for life. So I want to share what it is. So this way, you know, if you're there. And I'm going to let you know also, there are 4 reasons why we tend to stay in that one place. And when you know, you can see if that's exactly what you're doing, and of course, what you can do about it. So, we talk about the 5 stages, and I won't go through them here. We talk about them in Trust Again, and that's what we teach within the Institute. But because stage 2 is the shock and trauma, and you ignite the stress response, and you're headed for every single stress-related symptom, illness, condition, disease, and your mind is just in this complete state of chaos and overwhelm. You cannot wrap your mind around the information you just learned. This makes no sense to you. And your worldview is shattered. That's your mental model. It's your rules of the world. It's what prevents chaos. So the bottom is truly bottomed out on you in stage 2. It's terrifying. It's the scariest of all of the stages. And so think about it, though. If the bottom were to bottom out on you, what would you do? You'd grab hold of anything and everything you could to stay safe and stay alive. And that's stage 3. Survival instincts emerge. It's the most practical of all of the stages. If you can't help me, get out of my way. How do I survive this experience? Who can I trust? Where do I go? How do I feed my kids? Like, it's that practical. Here's the trap, everybody. Once you've figured out how to survive, because it feels so much better than the shock and the trauma of where you just came from, you think it's good. And you're like, okay, all right, we got this. And on some level, it is good because it's so much better than the shock and trauma of where you just came from. So yes, it is better, but that doesn't mean it's good. Transformation doesn't even happen until stages 4 and 5. But what happens in stage 3 is, because we feel like we're kind of on solid ground a little bit again, a few things start happening. The first is we start getting all of these small self benefits for, just in this place of survival. We get to be right. We get our story. We get someone to blame. We get a target for our anger. We get sympathy from everybody we tell our story to. We don't have to do the hard work of learning to trust again. Should I trust you? Can I trust you? Forget it. I'm just not trusting anybody. And so we start planting some deeper roots there. Then the next thing that happens is, because you're here and you're not supposed to stay for a long time, but you are, now your mind starts doing things like, well, maybe you're not all that great. Maybe you deserved it. Maybe this, maybe that. And you start planting some deeper roots. Then, because like energy attracts like energy, now you're calling situations and circumstances and even relationships towards you to confirm, yep, this is exactly where you belong. And then there's that whole misery loves company club. So now you're part of that too. And then because you're here, longer than you need to be, think about what happens next. Because you don't like it, but you don't know there's anything better. Right here is where you resign yourself. You're like, I guess I have to find a way to make this work. It's terrible. I'm not happy, but I don't know there's anything better. So right here is where you start using food and drugs and alcohol and work and TV and keeping busy and anything you can do to numb, avoid, distract yourself from what's really painful to feel or face. So think about it. You do this for a day, a week, a month. Now it's a habit. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I can see someone 20 years out and say, that emotional eating you're doing, or that drinking you're doing, or that numbing in front of the TV you're doing, do you think that has anything to do with your betrayal? And I swear they'd look at me like I'm crazy. And they would say, oh my gosh, that happened 20 years ago. doesn't matter. They got stuck in that stage 3. All of that that action is good. It was very action oriented. You were figuring out how to survive your experience. It was all about the thinking and the doing. And we get in that mode of thinking and doing, all, head based, not heart based. The feeling and being is the heart. The thinking and doing is the head. But it's like we turn down the feeling and being, and we ramp up the thinking and the doing. And it's almost like we cut ourselves off from the neck down, and we're just in that place of thinking and doing, not paying attention to how we feel, not connecting, but in this action-oriented mode. And because we've cut ourselves off like this, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel rewarding. It just kind of is. So the reason why I really wanted to talk about this today was there's a really good chance that you or someone you know is stuck in this stage 3. There's so much waiting for you when you let go of those small self benefits. When you say, okay, well, I have my story, but if I let my story go, I can have a way better story, and I can be the hero and the heroine of my story. When I stop hanging on to this, I can physically heal. You can, boost your immune system, stop that accelerated aging. I mean, it's incredible what happens when you let that stuff go. Opportunities, stuff that when you are carrying, it's like a 500-pound boulder of pain, and you put that down, you see things that are available to you now that you never would have had access to because you were blocking that view. Your arms were busy carrying this heavy, heavy burden. So really what I would recommend is take a look and ask yourself, am I stuck? Because if you're stuck, first of all, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You were doing the best, you knew how to do based on where you are. But there's so much waiting for you when you decide that, yes, I'm receiving those small self benefits, but I promise you, when you give those up for real benefits, it's gonna the version of you who shows up in the process will blow your mind. So of course, if we can help you with that, be sure to check out the PBT Institute, because that's what we do in there. We have different levels of membership based on your needs, your budget, but there truly is nothing like it. I mean, we have certified coaches and practitioners who each specialize in their own topic. Maybe it's chronic pain and or maybe it's addiction. We have coaches who specialize in narcissism, in reconciliation, in self-betrayal. It's endless. I mean, we have just the most incredible coaches, and they teach live daily classes. So really, I mean, the way it works is for 1 month within the community, it's less expensive than one session with a therapist. And we have a therapist. One of our practitioners had 37 years, and his specialty is cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's just incredible what goes on in there. And that's just the live daily classes. We have our programs, which you have 24/7 access to, which will literally walk you through the 5 stages of betrayal to breakthrough. I'm in there doing open Q&A every week. We call them coffee chats. Everything's recorded, by the way, if you can't catch it live. We have master classes where we bring in the most incredible experts, and it's the right type of community. It's not the Ain't It Awful Club where someone's like, well, this happened to me, and then someone chimes in with, oh, you think that's bad? This is what happened to me. No, it's all about lifting and inspiring. It's people moving forward, and then our members see, they're like, wow, you sound different than you sounded just a week ago. Or, wow, those boundaries that you were just talking about, you didn't have that a couple weeks ago. How'd you do that? So it's all about lifting and inspiring. And we kind of look at ourselves as we're like the training wheels until you just don't need it anymore. So you're not meant to be there for a long time. You're just meant to be there to get your job done so you can love again, trust again, feel safe again. Anyway, if that can support you, go to the PBT Institute, which stands for Post-Betrayal Transformation, thepbtinstitute.com/join. We have the proof. Staying stuck is now a choice. Do not stay stuck. The hardest part is over. You owe it to yourself to heal. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.